Hi there, and welcome to the Mindful Marathon podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Quirk, a run coach and pediatrician. Mindful Marathon is all about helping runners of all types to run their own race. Whether you are a seasoned runner or you're just getting started, I want to let you know that you're welcome here and that you're in the right place. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Today, I am joined by my friend and colleague in pediatrics, Dr. Alex Fiks, and we have a super special episode for you. As you can see, I'm not recording in my usual space, and Dr. Fiks is here with me to talk all things fitness, cycling, running, and we are going to get excited about the Philly Half Marathon. So, Alex, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much. It's really a pleasure to be here.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into all of the fitness stuff.
Well, I'm a pediatrician here at Children's Hospital with you and really spend a lot of time doing primary care. And when I'm not, I have a research role as well and really enjoy fitness as a way to balance out the work stress and all of that commitment with something that's really different.
Yeah, I concur with all of that. Can you tell us about a little bit about your fitness journey, like how we got up to this point of you wanting to run a half marathon? That may be hard to put in Cliff Notes.
Absolutely. Well, I started exercising a lot more back around 2018, 2017. I saw my parents getting older and I thought, well, I want to try to be as fit as I can as long as I can. And also, I knew that it just helped me feel good. And so, as a kid, I really enjoyed biking. I bought myself a new bike and started riding it a little bit more, and the rides got longer and longer. And then the pandemic hit.
Mhm.
And there wasn't that much to do, and the roads were very empty. And I started riding a lot more, got myself a coach, competed nationally, and did well in some big events, a lot of long cycling events, like 100 miles with 10,000 feet of climbing off of rolling hills, with a great cycling team. And then this year, I kind of felt like I had done a lot with my cycling. I had gone up to a pretty high level. Work was getting busier for a number of reasons and wanted to mix it up by trying something different that, I might eventually combine with cycling.
Yeah, yeah. For those of you who remember this, I did a recap of a half Ironman that we did as a relay this summer, and Alex was my cycling leg for that crazy race.
And it was really fun and hot.
Yes, maybe tell us your experience. Everybody heard my experience about that race,
Right.
but what were your thoughts going
Yeah.
into it?
Yeah, it was really inspirational seeing just how Ironman triathlon events tend to be much bigger than bike events. So there were just tons and thousands of people there. The infrastructure around it, like the swim, had a flotilla of dinghies to support everyone and make sure everyone was safe. And then the transition zone from event to event was also just enormous. And on the cycling leg itself, there was just a great amount of, police presence and other kinds of support so that you could really ride without stopping and avoiding traffic the whole way through. So it was really exciting to see some of the people who didn't really look like obvious athletes who were getting out there and doing it for the first time and doing amazing things where maybe not that long ago they hadn't exercised in years and years.
Yeah, yeah. And that was 56-mile bike ride, which you flew on.
Yeah, it was a 56-mile bike ride, pretty flat, but it was long and it was getting pretty hot there toward the end. And,
Yeah.
I had set a goal pace that I was able to keep, so I was really happy about that. But it was basically going fast in a pretty flat course with a little bit of an up. There was a bit of a wind, so the upwind part was a little bit harder. But all in all, was a really fun race and sort of piqued my curiosity about, events that combine different sports too.
Yeah, yeah, that is the fun part about it because you can do multiple things with it and you don't, this is a plug for the relay. So for anybody who's like a one sport athlete, you can get some friends or family together and coerce everybody into doing the multi-sport of it.
And that was really fun to tag team it too, and what made it much easier to try it for the first time. So I got to
Agree.
experience it without having to run and swim, which I wouldn't have been ready for at that point.
Well, that run was very, very hot. But anyway, what lessons did you take away from that experience that you're carrying with you into your running now?
Right. So I'm running more now, and I made that little bit of a pivot. And I think the lessons are, that some of the same training principles that I knew from cycling about having a periodism to what you do so that you're not exactly training the same way within narrow blocks or over time, that you're building toward your peak events, that you're thinking about individual workouts in different ways so that they stress different systems and get you
Mhm.
ready without leaving you flat and burned out. And so all of that really has carried over as I've thought more about running and getting ready for, what I'm ultimately trying to do, which is run my first half marathon. And by way of background, I don't think I had run before I started training for this 3 mile, maybe 3 miles, but certainly not 5 miles since college, and definitely not with
Mhm.
training or doing a race in mind.
Yeah. Alex is leaving out the part where he trained quite a bit for cycling events prior to all of this. So his fitness coming into this training cycle is very, very high. And aerobic fitness translates really well from cycling to running and vice versa. So although I'm not writing cycling workouts, I think the periodization of the training is very similar.
Definitely. And I'm also trying, and my big goal is kind of to not take, I mean, cycling is very low impact, so I'm trying and making the switch not to, mess up my legs or other things too badly and just kind of be able to slowly and progressively build and be ready for the event.
Kind of going along with this, this is a question I'm going back to, but how do you balance training with your work and family just for the busy professionals out there?
Well, I think that, one of the problems that I was having is training for biking for long events takes an incredibly large amount of time. And so the running it can be done in a little bit more of a focused time frame in terms of individual workouts or overall weekly amounts. And I
Mhm.
think a couple of things. One is to set goals that are realistic so that it stays fun, because if you're pushing beyond what you really have time for, it just becomes another stress, like another job.
Mhm.
And the other thing that really has helped out with this is, just being flexible. So some days I have to be at work really early. Yesterday it rained. So yesterday I was on the treadmill.
Mhm.
Today I did some other workouts and didn't even try to run. And so moving things around to fit what you have to do with your job, and also the change in season with there being less light, which I
Mhm.
hate, but it's the way it is. So
Yeah.
just trying to work around all of those things so that you can still feel like you can get your work done and do a good job, but you get to have the fun and the balance and the kind of the relief of the fitness mixed in with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to say that we're not professional athletes, so we don't want it to start feeling like a part-time job. Then I'm not doing a great job as a coach. So.
Right. And sometimes, a hard workout could be harder than what you have to do at work on a given day. So it really is important to balance the two.
That's a good point. Um, okay, now, so Alex is running the Philly Half Marathon, which is toward the end of November, and he is going to be running for the Students Run Philly Style. So, for listeners who may not be familiar, can you tell us a little bit about the Students Run? And I'm happy to chime in as well.
Yeah, so I haven't worked with the organization for long, but when I was looking to sign up, they really inspired me. What they do, which is really consistent with what we try to do with the families we work with in the office, is they help to get kids out there, out of their kind of comfort zone and routines, and doing something different that can really help their health and mental health. So they take kids and as a way to mentor them for life, but also to mentor them for fitness, get them running in a mentored, supported way. Um, so that they can also run events and do other things and have that balance that, we've been talking about earlier in the podcast.
Yeah, yeah, they're a really wonderful organization here in the city. I've worked with them a couple of times over the years, starting with the pandemic actually, and they pair students with mentors and train for the longer distance races here in Philly. So the Philly Half and Full are big ones, and then Broad Street in the spring. So there will be a lot of students out there this November as well. Um, how can the listeners support you in your journey here for the half marathon?
Well, it's if I see you, it's great to say hello and wish me well. If you're out there on the course that day, I wish you luck, and I think that would be good. And then I've contributed as part of running for students Philly style to the event and to the group as part of the half marathon process. And there's the opportunity for others to contribute as well. I think we can share a link that just takes you right to the page to contribute, and hopefully we can make a nice big donation to the effort, which will help a whole bunch of kids potentially participate and really build their own fitness journey, give them something really positive to look forward to as a way to feel good and avoid other less ideal activities.
Yeah, and I will put a plug that as little as $25 will buy a pair of sneakers for one of the kids. So there's no cost to the kids in the program, and $25 will get them a pair of sneakers. So
Yeah, that's a great and
it's a
very
low barrier of entry.
right. And I'm going to be looking out for them on the courses I'm running
Yes.
the half. I We'll see how
Oh
fast they
yeah.
are, but I bet some of them will be
Yes,
really
very
fast.
fast. What are you most looking forward to about race day?
Well, I just think doing these events is really, really fun in a couple of respects. One is the stories around you are always inspiring of people who've either been through or are going through really hard things themselves and are using the event as a way to bring positivity and balance to their lives. I
Mhm.
think that's incredibly um, inspiring. For me, I always like to strive and challenge myself a little bit. So I've never run anything close to this long. So seeing what my body can do and how I can feel to the end and really sort of putting that training to the test and also getting to see the city of Philly in a
Yeah.
new way. I've lived here for 28 years, but I've never run through it in quite this way and, in a closed course through a bunch of great neighborhoods. And so I'm really looking forward to being part of the city in that way too.
I'm having flashbacks to running the Philly half a couple of times, but some of the neighborhoods have quite a lot of character and characters. So,
I can only imagine.
yes, I'm excited for that for you. Okay, well, to wrap up, if someone listening, maybe one of our physician colleagues, if someone is listening and they want to start or maybe restart their fitness journey, what advice would you give them?
So I would say do it without pressure and try it and see what happens, as opposed to, um, you know, having to couch it in some larger plan. When I started running this time, just as an example, I didn't start to think about events or other things, but then I ran a bunch of times just to run, and I said, well, I could do some of these events, and I just got to it like that. So I think really taking the pressure down, just taking the first step and trying it, and if one sport doesn't particularly appeal to you, think of another and just make it so it's positive, fun, and doable in the context of everything else going on.
Yeah. And I think this is also a great time of year to give a plug to the turkey trot. So for Thanksgiving, there's always a lot of local like 5Ks or family fun runs that you could think about maybe signing up for. And it doesn't require a ton of training to do that.
Yeah, and the other thing I didn't mention, but that was really nice, is that my kids had started running, and so they didn't really cycle, or at least
Yeah.
they didn't have any interest in doing the kind of events that I am. So even before the Philly half, we're going to do a 10K
Mhm.
together, and we've never done any kind of sort of fitness event in that way. So it's kind of another nice way to get started is to think about what the
Mhm.
people around you like to do and how you can do it together.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I think that's it. We'll stop there. But for everybody listening, I'm going to leave the link to the fundraising page in the show notes, and then also how to follow Alex on race day. So send your cheers and all your good wishes for a speedy race, and send your funds for the Students Run Philly Style.
And thanks so much, Michelle, for having me on, and thanks to all of you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for listening today. If you enjoyed the episode, please share it with a friend. And if you have a moment, please rate and review the podcast so that we can reach and encourage others to tie on their sneakers and join us out there on a run. See you next time.